Thank you, Mr. Deputy. Mr. Deputy President, I wish to present the following motion standing in my name. Whereas it is provided by Section 63(1)(a) of the Public Finance Management Act, Cap 1501, the Act, that the Minister of Finance may, by affirmative resolution of Parliament, borrow from a bank or other financial institution for the capital or current expenditure of government. And whereas it is further provided by Section 64 of the Act that money borrowed by the government must be paid into and form part of the consolidated fund. And whereas the Minister of Finance considers it necessary to borrow an amount of US $6,276,000 from the Special Funds Resources of the Caribbean Development Bank, the Special Development Fund to support the Youth Economy Project, the loan. And whereas the loan is repayable in 92 equal or approximately equal or consecutive quarterly installments. And whereas the loan payments commence on the first day of January, the first day of April, the first day of July, and the first day of October of each year, after a grace period of 2 years following the date of the loan, or such later date as the bank specifies in writing. And whereas interest is paid at a rate of 0.75% per annum on the amount of the loan disbursed and outstanding. Be it resolved that Parliament authorizes the Minister of Finance to borrow an amount of US $6,270,000 from the Special Funds Resources of the Bank's Special Development Fund to support the Youth Economy Project. Be it further resolved that A, the loan is repayable in 92 equal or approximately equal and consecutive quarterly installments. B, the loan repayments commence on the first day of January, the first day of April, the first day of July, and the first day of October of each year, after a grace period of 2 years following the date of the loan, or such later date as the bank may specify in writing. C, interest is payable at a rate of 0.75% per annum on the amount of the loan disbursed and outstanding. Mr. Deputy President, I want to offer some additional explanation with regard to the second motion, which in terms of the conditions of this loan are very similar to the previous motion. But of course the purpose is different. This motion seeks to secure those funds for the youth economy project, or the youth economy concept that our Prime Minister articulated not only on the campaign trail, but delivered on when the Youth Economy Agency was formed and the legislation was passed. So we have had a process. There's a pronouncement on the election campaign. There is a policy statement made in the Prime Minister's budget. There is then legislation passed to establish the legislative framework for the concept. And then there is an agency formed to give a certain level of autonomy and latitude for this concept to be implemented. And now we come to secure funding for the implementation of this concept. So you see, Mr. Deputy President, this is very important, because in governance there are processes that you need to follow, and we follow those processes. We adhere to these principles. No one man just comes and just implements things and imposes things on the people of this country when it comes to our government. We know that we made certain promises and the people have expectations, and so we have to ensure that we go through all the processes, even when the people are anxious and want for us to deliver what we promised. But we will not skip the important steps, processes, and principles of good governance in that process. So, Mr. Deputy President, this youth economy agency and this youth economy project really, in my view, is going to revolutionize the entire concept of framework of youth unemployment and the approach to young persons getting involved in productive activity. in this country. Too often we have relied on persons waiting or seeking employment from an agency, from a business, from government, looking for a job. I'm out of school, so now I'm looking for a job. I want somebody to employ me. We as a developing country need to be able to create an environment that is enabling, that allows a young man, a young woman, in whatever field of endeavor, whatever their passion, that they can not only seek employment, but create employment for themselves and for other people. Mr. Deputy President, this is why the youth economy seeks to tap into persons' entrepreneurial skills, their passion, their what we call their converting their hobbies into entrepreneurship and their skills into businesses. That is what it is. So any young person in this country without any money, no capital, propriétaire, how do you call it? Yes, is that it? Propriétaire, nenenek pawe, can start from zero and work their way up. And this is a way in which this government intends to help our people in this country not only find employment, but create wealth for themselves. Legitimate wealth, mind you, Mr. Deputy President. Not like some of what I've heard before. Legitimate wealth that they can account for. They can show where they started and they can build and grow. They can own a business. This is important. In this day and age, most of us have had a history of working for someone or being part of a cooperation. But how many of our St. Lucian folk actually own a business? They own an entity. This is theirs. And they can then generate employment for others. So this youth economy concept is a very serious undertaking. Having mentioned that the rates are concessionary, less than 1%, I want to take you back, Mr. Deputy President, to 2021, where the manifesto of this government was very clear as to what the youth economy was supposed to do. And it was supposed to be based on a two-pronged approach, being able to help people identify their passion and what they want to do, securing loans and grants for that, and also being able to develop their concept through technical skill training, mentorship, as well as marketing and other skills or other competencies that help them to be able to sustain the business. We do not want young people to just venture into corporations or venture into business development opportunities and they have no idea where they're going, there is no guidance, and they get stuck. We don't want them to be making bad investments. And that is why part of this goes towards helping to pay for some of the mentorship, some of the marketing skills, some of the technical support that they will require in being able to develop their indigenous businesses. Mr. Deputy President, I see this initiative enabling us to create wealth in this country, enabling us to bring down the unemployment numbers that have started to come down. We took it from about 40% among youth unemployment when some people were boasting that they were dealing with unemployment. And it is now at a very, we will never be satisfied until we have zero unemployment. Nobody, I would be first to tell you, if we can say we have zero unemployment, that's what all of us want. But it's trending in the right direction, Mr. Deputy President. It's trending downwards, particularly youth unemployment. And so, Mr. Deputy President, the Youth Economy Agency is responsible for executing and managing this program. I heard the leader of opposition business, but I will allow for some time. He'll get the answer to the question very soon. Mr. Deputy President, the Youth Economy Agency was set up, like I said when we started. After the pronouncement, after the legislation, the agency was set up. And it is really to ensure that there is some level of accountability and some level of professionalism in what is happening. And so this intervention that we refer to as the youth economy is a targeted one. It is targeted to a specific section of the population. and they fall between the age of 18 and 35. In fact, there's an international definition of youth. And I remember back in the days when I was in the youth movement, we used to think that people past 30 were not supposed to be considered youth like us. It's only when we saw the definition saying 18 to, I think it was 16 to 35, that we realized some of us, our parents, were still youth while we were still in this movement. And so it's very specific and it's very targeted. It is targeting young people between the ages of 18 and 35. Now one might ask, so what about those people who are not between 18 and 35? This government is inclusive, Mr. Deputy President, and that is being taken care of through the SMME, the Small, Medium and Micro Enterprise Development Project, which again has attracted about $10 million. And so our other section of the population, those who are not 35 and under, can benefit through a similar loan grant facility that is available. And so while we focus in this resolution, we focus on the youth population, the government has put other mechanisms in place to deal with the other section of our population. So Mr. Deputy President, I can see this initiative benefiting all age groups, or not all age groups, but all persons who desire to endeavor to benefit. So far, I understand that there's over 1,000 applications. There's over 200 approvals. And so it means that the young people out there are actually interested and are applying to access that facility. Of course, the applications have to be reviewed. There has to be certain standards met. They get assistance in doing so. And not everybody will get approval instantly. But over time, we believe that hundreds and hopefully thousands of young people in this country will benefit. Mr. Deputy President, the benefits are widespread. Male and female, both genders. They are sustainable. And there are a number of sectors, in terms of the applications we have noticed, they are coming from a cross-section of sectors in this country. Agriculture, agro-business, we see applications coming in. There are applications coming in from the sports sector, people applying for grants and loans for initiatives that are sports-related. Model music and creative industries. We have applications coming in from the manufacturing sector. Cosmetology. We have applications coming in for the area of ICT, which is critical. We have applications coming in from the area of graphics. The hospitality sector, people who want to get into the hospitality business, set up small businesses. We also have applications coming in, Mr. Deputy, from the area of the blue economy. We are surrounded by water, and it's so heartening that our young people have ideas and initiatives that can tap into that resource. So what it has done, it has caused our young people to look around them and find maybe avenues that they had not otherwise thought they had a chance to survive in. And they can now go for it. They can now come up with a concept, and that concept can be developed, and they can own it. And they can, when their parents don't have land and collateral to go to the bank, they don't have to deal with that. They can get grants. And if it is not sufficient, they can then access small loans to begin. Of course, you're not going to expect them to come and ask for $1 million, but they have a way that they can get started and they can build. And some of those today, Mr. Deputy President, who boast of having some of the biggest business establishments in this country, and some of us think that that's the only set of people who should qualify to lead our country. Ask them where they started. They started small, with small businesses, doing business at a micro level, and then they grew. And our young people in this country must be able to aspire to do likewise. So, Mr. Deputy President, I will wrap up by again emphasizing that these agencies are not just on their own doing what they want. There is oversight that is going to be done through the Ministry of under the Ministry of the Prime Minister's portfolio for the youth economy, supported by the Ministry of Investment and Commerce. We believe, Mr. Deputy President, that every St. Lucian every single St. Lucian stands to benefit, regardless of your gender, regardless of where you come from in St. Lucia, whether you come from the city or the rural area, whether you are a supporter of the St. Lucia Labour Party or the United Workers' Party, you will be benefited. Nobody asks you, when you come to the Youth Economy Agency with your concept and your business plan, nobody will ask you who you voted for, or who your parents support. They will acknowledge your application, and it will be considered because you are a citizen of this country, you are a young person, and you deserve an opportunity to own a business. So, Mr. Deputy President, we are not only talking the talk, we are walking the walk. And this resolution seeks to secure the funding to give the youth economy the resources that it needs to execute the programs that our young people come up with. Not things we just impose on them. Not things we have set up for them whether or not they want to do it. Not just telling them that there's a nice call center you can go and work with, and whatever they tell you to do, you have to do. And then if they don't like you, they just drop you after a few weeks and you're back at zero. And you have no social security, you have nothing to sustain you. This is an initiative where you, as a young person, you own the concept, you own the ideas, you own the business. And when the investment is made, all the profits are yours, and you become a St. Lucian, proud St. Lucian business owner and proud St. Lucian entrepreneur. That is what this government is about. That is why we empower people. That is why we say we put them first, because we understand the importance of helping young people create their own wealth and channeling their own destiny. So I put this before the Senate for its approval for the benefit of our young people of this country. I thank you, Mr. Deputy.